What's up guys, how you doing? If you haven't been to my channel before, my name's Subscriber. I would really appreciate if you subscribed. Today we're doing a non-sponsored, non-bullshit review of the Nanlite Pavotube II 6C. This is actually the first light in their second generation of Pavotubes. And I've got to tell you, I've been using it for about a week now, and I really like this light. It does have a couple of downfalls that I will shed some light on at the very end of this film. But generally, it's a fantastic little light. I do like the form factor. It feels like it's really, really well made. Great little light. Now, it comes in at $99. It has a CRI of 95, a TLCI of 97. It weighs 260 grams. It is 25 centimeters long. It is 3.8 centimeters thick. It has a 3.7 volt battery in it at 2,200 milliamp hours, which means you can get 1.1 hours of runtime at full power, 100% at daylight. If you drop it down to 1%, you can get about 8 hours of runtime. And it takes about 2.5 hours to charge. So that's kind of average for these lights. This form factor is really cool. I really do like this form factor. It's really great for special effect lights, accent lights, product lights. It's it's kind of this mini lightsaber, so it's really cool. Now, it has magnets on each end. It has quarter 20s on each end. It has a recessed control pad right there, which has 5 buttons: mode, switch, plus, minus, and on, off. It has a USB-C right here, which you can use to power off the mains, charge it off the mains, or you can power off the power bank and charge off the power bank. The USB-C also comes in handy for firmware updates, which is really great because it has 15 special effects, which no doubt Nanlite will be adding to or improving. The special effects on this light are actually fantastic because you can customize every single one of them, from light temperature to speed to that is really one of the best parts of this light. And it's also a CCT light, so a bicolor light ranging from 2,700 kelvins to 7,500 kelvins. The sweet spot is around 5,100. And you also have, obviously, daylight and tungsten right there in there. It's also an RGB light, or should I say HSI light, because you can control the hue, saturation, and intensity of this light, giving it 36,000 potential colors. And I've got to say, they're really, really lush. The colors that come out of this light they're really beautiful. Let me just show you. Whilst we're here, you might as well have a look. So I'm just gonna spin it around, and you're gonna see the lights changing here from blue to cyan to blue to purple to, here comes pink. And then we'll have a bit of red, and then it'll go into orange, yellow, and back to green. So you can see it's got some really, really nice colors. How do we turn this on? Though the actual, if we switch it over to daylight right there, and we turn off the green, you can see it does have a slight magenta shift. But the fantastic thing about this light is you do have green magenta from -50 to +50. So we can put it at about 8, and it should counter that magenta shift, matching your other daylight lights that you use. Now, this at the moment is at 20%. If we bump it up to 100, it's going to get very bright in here. Is that it? That's it. That is 100%. If I take off my hat, you will see me using it as a key light right now, or a backlight, or a hair light. Do I have any hair? So it's a very, very bright light. The fantastic thing is, on the screen you can also see, whilst you're changing the actual power of the light, the battery. So at the moment it's showing 3.9 hours, 4 hours at 1% at daylight. I've got to say, I've been having a lot of fun with it. There are no flickering issues, by the way. I've been doing it at 25, 50, 100. I've also switched over to 120, and there are no flickering issues. So that's really, really great. Slow motion, absolutely no problem with this light. I do have the Chinese version because I ordered it a little bit early, and I just have mode and switch in Chinese, which is pretty simple to remember, but yeah. Now, the stuff you get in the box is pretty cool. Woo. You get a really nice soft velvet carrying case. USB to USB-C braided cable, Nanlite wrist strap with a 1/4 screw in the end, so you can screw it in there and make sure it's nice and safe. And you also get 3 iron plates. Now, what are these for? Well, if you get yourself some Gorilla Tape, like for example, the thin one that I have, and you Gorilla Tape a couple of these iron plates to the wall, to the table, to a car, you can stick it to anything. Now, that is really cool, and they included 3 just in case you lose one, right? When it comes to power output, this light is fairly powerful. Using my Sekonic light meter at 100 ISO and shutter speed of 50. I did get it at 5,600 kelvins, 1 meter away at 140 lux. So that's fairly good for a light this size. If I dropped down to 1%, it came out to 20 lux. And if I went to RGB, it was 25 lux. So it did have quite a nice kick to it, especially in the daylight. Now, comparing to Aperture MC, this at full power is 140, the Aperture MC is 86. A Yongnuo YN60 Pro, which has got a very similar form factor, puts out 100% light when this puts out 1% light. So this is at 25 and this is at 20. So you can see this light really does pack a punch. And compared to the Pilotfly RX1, this puts out 140, the Pilotfly puts out 280. Now, the Pilotfly is a fantastic light, and this is what it looks like compared to the Pavotube. So the great thing about the Pavotubes is Nanlite has a ton of accessories for them. You can get a waterproof bag for this guy, which is absolutely awesome. You can get a T12 tube holder to change it in different positions, which is great. You can get an egg crate, which I'm waiting on. You can get a power grip, which kind of screws into the 1/4 and attaches to the USB-C. I'm a little bit disappointed that you have a cable that goes in there and you couldn't just screw it in and power it some way through the bottom. Now, getting to the downfalls of this light, I don't want to be negative. I want to give some constructive criticism to Nanlite about the Pavotube, which I really do like. The first thing is the wireless technology. Whoever decided that the second generation should have the same wireless technology as the first, I don't know what you were thinking, but you have to buy a $300 router to control this wirelessly, which is ridiculous because that's 3 times the price of this light. Aperture MC has Bluetooth mesh technology, allowing you to control about 250 of these lights at the same time. The same for the Pilotfly RX1, which is actually one of my favorite lights ever, Bluetooth mesh. This Yongnuo YN60 Pro is controllable via an app, and it's all included in these lights. Now, sure, you can go out and buy the Nanlite RC1 controller, and you can change the power, you can change the color temperature, which, believe it or not, is completely different on the controller than it is on the actual light, because this only goes up to a certain temperature. So the controller is absolutely useless for $40, and it will not control the special effects or the RGB. So those are pretty big things which kind of annoy me with this light. The other thing is the magnets, they're not very strong compared, for example, to the Aperture MC, which are ridiculously strong. The Pilotfly is getting an actual attachment for magnets. This, every time I'd put it on a surface, it would slowly slide down, so I'd have to attach like gaff tape somewhere to keep it in place. And the last thing is the USB-C placement. So you have the USB-C in there and you want to power off a power bank for a couple of hours, great. But you want to stick it to the wall at the same time. There's a problem. Yeah, I mean, that's a ridiculous place to put it. It really should have gone in the side to make life a little bit easier. Apart from that, it's a really fantastic light. I love the colors that come out of it. They're very lush. And yeah, great light, Nanlite. I'm sorry I had to put in some criticism right there. But it's only to help you guys maybe in the future add a few things that will help us creators out. Anyway, you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. Any subs that haven't been subbed, you make sure you press that button. And yeah, I'm going to catch you on the next one.